Garrett Blevins here with week 6, day 1 of the Cube Kingpin. I'd been looking ahead at this rep deadlift day and decided with how my back's been feeling to cut out the deficit pulls today. Instead, I added in extra sets of just pulling from the floor as well as upped both the sets and the reps. So today I could have gone up to sets of 8, but ended up with my grip going sets of 6. This is with a 510, and these were moving pretty good. I believe in my last cycle of the cube I did 3 sets of doubles with 510, and it was a really hard day. And this day things were moving quite a bit faster. I don't know if that's just because I'm stronger or more recovered or getting in better positions to pull from. I'm not sure, but in any case, I was pretty happy with these. I ended up doing 4 sets of 6. I had to call it, or I decided before I even started this workout that as soon as my back started cramping, I knew I wasn't going to go for the snatch grips. I just don't want to injure myself, and so it's not worth it to me to pull from that deficit if I feel like I'm gonna have some sort of hip flexor pull like I did last year or something of that nature. So I'm just trying to train smart, and part of that means adjusting workouts for recovery. I was still sore today from squatting last Friday, and even with 3 days of recovery, I was still sore. I also did a good amount of sitting today. I've been updating some websites actually, and so just more sitting, more stiff than usual. But I was really happy to get just 6 reps of these. And my grip felt good. The first set I did without a belt and without chalk, and after that I added the belt in and the chalk. I wear my wrist wraps sometimes when I'm doing these deadlifts, and it's because when I set the bar down and it bounces back up into my wrist, especially with rep work, wearing the wrist wraps reduces that shock into my wrist a little bit, and so it makes me feel better, especially if I don't drop it down. If I just hold it into the next rep, like you see there, the wrist wraps help me not get quite as jarred. So this first set of block pulls, I did a set of 3. This is 530. There are 10s on the outside that you can't see, and then I threw on the straps and decided to rep out. And so this was a PR for me. I don't think I've ever tried to rep out on block pulls before, so kind of no matter what I did, I felt like it was going to go pretty good. But I was actually pretty happy with the last rep. I really went. This was a complete max effort. I had no more left. I couldn't have done any more if I wanted to. And you'll see on this last rep that I just barely gutted out. I get to the top, and I wanted to not hitch. I was really trying to lock all of these out. But I was trying not to hitch and cheat too much, even though I was using the straps. And so I finish out this last rep. I get up to the top and just squeeze, 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 and then lock my knees out right there. And so I think that was a good rep, and I'm pretty happy about that.
Um, Having said all this, I kind of have a slightly different topic to talk about here. I was working last Sunday with the kids, and we were talking about who killed Jesus and who's responsible for Jesus' death. And inevitably, when I talk about that subject, somebody comes back and says that God is responsible for killing Jesus, that because God is in control of everything, that God made this happen, the crucifixion, made the crucifixion happen, and that was God's desirous will. That's what God really wanted to have happen. And there's loads of issues with that, but this passage on accountability brings up one of them, that whoever handed Jesus over is guilty of a great sin because he was innocent. And if you hand over an innocent, that's injustice. And if God is the one doing that, then God is accountable. Jesus, I think here is saying God is not accountable for that. And this is an important thing for us to think about in our lives and in powerlifting, in our work environments, in our relationship, is who's accountable? Who's who's causing the problems? Sometimes it's us. Sometimes we're our own worst enemies. But sometimes it's other people, and it's not our fault. Sometimes things are outside of our control. And so it's important for us to have proper accountability. you shouldn't take accountability for things that you can't control or that you haven't done anything wrong on. As though, yeah, it'd be like Jesus saying, "Well, I've sinned because I've let myself be handed over," or something like that. Well, no, he was doing that on purpose. There was a plan there. There was a greater purpose. But for Pilate tries at one point to wash his hands of the whole thing. He literally washes his hands and says, "My hands are clean," but his hands aren't clean. He can't shirk off accountability, and neither can the one who handed Jesus over. And so accountability is important in life and in lifting. And I'm accountable right now for getting my back recovered, so I'm going to get working on that. Blessings.